and we got quite a lot of trouble for that one.
No.
So therefore we play it again. Oh, fun. Wow. Good afternoon.
Hey.
The enthusiasm is burning through the crowd as usual.
Oh yeah. These guys are asleep. Let's fix that.
This is the session before the party. So, good afternoon.
Hey.
The less enthusiastic you all are, the slower we will go, which is the longer it will take to get to the bar. Mind you, not for us.
Well, yeah.
Not you.
Any lawyers here today? Any senior IBM management? No? Good.
We have 15 minutes. Who can we have?
Damn, small people.
There's so many people to start.
Oh dear.
Darren Duke, you have your clothes on.
Yes.
The world is a better place for it.
We think so.
Oh my word.
Is anyone here know what to be behind by Mount Newman?
Is that balloons in your pocket or? Not yet.
How's everything at home?
That's all I call a flashlight.
So everybody who's really short sit behind him.
I'll just sit behind that in the cinema.
Oh, I love it. Oh dear. Do you want me to leave the door?
Put on the lights.
He's going to electrocute Australia.
Oh, I see you moving the Lotusphere 20 party up here. That's what you're doing. Whoa! Who all went to the Lotusphere 20 party downstairs? The unicorns! The midget wrestling. Wow! The hookers, the cookies. Oh, wow! I've been back in the 70s.
Oh, IBM, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Here we go. There's a bit of a history lesson. The very first time I ever presented at Lotusphere was worst practices with him.
There's a message there.
I was nervous. It was horrible. And pretty much he stage died, so the front 3 rows should be concerned. And from that point on, we tried to rebuild our reputations, and then we, for some strange reason, decided to do it again. We will figure all this out at some stage. So, who here is an administrator? Raise your hands. Okay, by order of noise, that was really windy. Who here is an administrator? Cheer! Yeah! Developers, cheer! Yeah! End users, cheer!
Yeah!
Right. Tony Holder, you are neither an administrator or a developer.
All those things.
You are all those things, which means you are none.
Would you like the re-education back?
Yes! Yes, in Belfast, it's called an educator.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Actually, one moment. We have a... Because we do everything to scale, I also have this one for me. Now I look bigger when I take photos.
Oh, wow. You just not look stiff, aren't you?
Here you go. Deal with your compensation issues.
Small. It's a BCC badge. It's not being connected to BCC, the German company, obviously. It's because we're trying to educate some IBM people on how to use the BCC field in email. If you're not a speaker, you might not be aware about someone with an IBM accidentally made 440 speakers, of which 200 are accepted on IBM, using the to field. And then people started mailing back saying, please stop replying to this email. And it took about a week for it to die down, so hence the BCC badge.
Anyone here on the address list? Cheer!
And it was only IBMers that replied to all, by the way.
I couldn't possibly vote.
Does anybody want a free mobile device?
Yeah! No.
Curious Mitch gave me some small mobile devices. They're wrists.
The cinema ones are particularly round. Oh yeah, here we go.
You need one, sir.
There's a reason he was.
Here you go. Okay, I am a really terrible pro.
Whoa! Okay, this is what Devin, pay attention, this is yours. Okay. There you go, sir. It's the first time I've seen Devin today, I'm sorry.
How many rules have you broken already?
There's a really big one about wearing yellow. Currently, we're not supposed to wear yellow on stage, and we're not supposed to wear this logo on stage. So I'm definitely not going to wear this, okay? And my track manager would come and re-educate me with the very, very large bats.
I saw our track manager.
Yeah. She didn't see that.
Where is Miss Susan Bull?
She laughed.
She ran.
Yeah. Multiple denied bets. Yes.
I have no idea what you're saying. I don't know what they did. I was not there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, but they did was awful. It was terrible. Did she give us the pictures?
Good pictures. Oh, no pictures.
Oh, okay. No pictures.
Yes.
Right. Oh my word. We have 10 minutes to go.
10 minutes. The room isn't full yet. Chris Miller.
The man with the electrocuted hair.
Chris Miller gives good slide. One slide.
May I ask?
You broke the stage. You broke the stage.
It's not fixed now. Just
Hey, Paul.
all my life.
Paul, we found Susan.
This is not going to be pretty.
Hello.
And boss lady's here.
How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, anyone here who attends all the best practice track sessions, the woman who keeps us all in check.
Oh, yeah. There's one rule in life, and that is always do exactly what Susan tells you immediately, or else you'll die. And once you figure that out, it works really well.
As she has often put it, the best practice team is like herding dyslexic cats on acid. We're not the best bunch of people to deal with or work with, but somehow she manages to keep us all in control. Until now,
Oh, she denied
I
that.
am terrified.
Yeah, she just denied that, Paul. Very
Hello,
quietly.
darling. Hello.
This is like a reunion.
It's more like
Okay,
It's like a wake.
everyone might make
the community, it really is. Yes. Welcome to the Lotusphere Rest Home for the slightly bemused. Madam's to the left, Madam's to the right. Here we are.
Stuck in the middle.
Oh dear.
Tom, help me.
There's lots of seats over here.
Spot this year.
It's plenty of
It's
seats.
big boy guard, folks. Say choo-choo to me. Oh. Is that what choo-choo means? Oh dear. It's one last Christmas card.
I know. I found a solution.
Just leave.
I'm just going to sit here.
Oh, I see.
Do you need help again, Paul?
No, I just had that legal walking in. I'm just going to stay down. William, you're very quiet. You haven't spoken in 4 seconds.
Well, let's see. So the party tonight is at Universal Studios. I believe the Jaws ride is still in operation, is it not?
No.
Yes? No? 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 Oh, that's the best part then.
It's long gone.
And the Minions. Who's been with the Minion ride?
Yes.
Minions?
No, I haven't been on it. I'm going to be on it.
Oh, you're going to be on it. I see you painted yourself yellow,
Could be.
especially for this.
I could be in it. Who knows?
In fact, if you wear a yellow t-shirt, you'd be halfway there. Does everyone know Duffbert? Duffer is stand up.
Stand up and
Is an all-star, of course, and sports a nice mankini, as we'll see later.
Yes, that's slide 7.
Oh no! How are we doing for time? We are.
I think you should play your show.
I think we should do the pre-show for this year. Can we switch over PCs again, please? Thank you. And we need audio. When you're ready, 3, 2, 1.
Can we switch to the other screen? Thank you. Good evening! Pathetic. Good evening! Are you all ready to finish up the closing party tonight?
Yes.
We are the people holding you between the here and the bar, so we're sorry in advance. We will make it as quick and as painful as possible. Possibly painful for us.
Yes.
This is BP 108 worst practices back from the depths of despair after a 5-year holiday. 3, is it? Yes. So, everyone stand on your feet.
Is everyone standing up? Or are you standing? Oh, yeah.
Monty Python.
Are we all standing?
Monty Python salute.
There we go.
You read what you see.
Stand up.
All they do is pseudocode. Code monkey. Right. Oh, wrong way.
Go to the PC ball. Are we doing it from back here? I state your name. Let's solemnly to a deity, non-deity, or positive spaghetti, to fill out an elevation of this session, and to fill it out in whole, and to buy a real person on your left. Even though I never really liked that person, after my incident at the time. But it's best we don't talk about it anymore, because it gets kind of uncomfortable. So say we all, yes! You can sit down.
Okay. My name is Ron Mooney.
You want his shirt? Look at that shirt.
Shirt still fits. I've been operating in Lotus Notes since R2. I've been a speaker, author, blogger, jogger. I started with CC Mail on Novell. I wish we were still back there because it worked. I work in and support all those technologies, and we're great. I am joined by my father.
He's back, baby, yeah. Oh dear. Yes, so I started off on CC Mail and Novell as well, and then Notes and Domino Consulting since about 1995 or thereabouts. Dual PCLE of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8.5. God knows why. And I blog, I speak, and sometimes I bike. And I work with HDSL, EP, ISP focused on identity management. Woo! I'm going upstairs if you need to see us. So let's get legal.
We weren't.
You got our legals?
We're not down there anymore.
It's closed.
It's closed.
Ah, yes.
My voice is prepared. Important points. This is Technology Light. This is not a technical session. This is a lessons learned session. Don't expect to learn anything code-worthy here at all, or server-worthy. This is kind of like a rest from all those social sessions that you've gone through. This is anti-social. Please make sure you're never up here or being noticed in here. We never mention who they are. The stories are all real. If you happen to be in the room, we will point you out. I'm sorry. Oops. Any questions? If you do happen to find an end user near you, please do destroy them.
Okay, so what is this session about? Mistakes are made by everyone. I am a mistake, my father keeps telling me. So, how would you deal with them? Do you blame? Do you ignore them? Do you go into denial? Whether you're large or small, SMB or enterprise, it's how you deal with your environment that's important, and how you deal with mistakes. So, you've got to know your environment, especially if you inherit it, because as soon as that previous person goes out the door, it's all your fault. Okay, on the first day of my job as an IT manager at an oil service company, I was hit by a legal team in a lawsuit wanting to crawl over an account server that I'd only just seen 5 minutes previously, and it was still all my fault, okay? So, prevention beats cure, beats the hell out of the cure, as you will see hopefully.
So, some people, how many people here have never been to this session before? Just curious.
Oh, new blood! Okay.
Whoa! How many people have been to this session before? Oh, we have groupies.
I was sitting near the front as well.
This session does try to have a serious undertaking. It usually fails, but we do try quite hard. For each case study that we have, we bring you through a problem that we came across. We go through the errors that we saw, we diagnose the problem, how we did that, determining the problem itself, how we fixed the problem, and most importantly, what lessons can we learn from all of this. There are 10 new case studies taken over the years, and 2 of them, the last 2, are our favourites. Oh yes, gone by. We cover both infrastructure and development, so we try not to get in each other's way. We want to offend everybody equally. And these are all true. I really, really wish they were not. You cannot make some of this stuff up.
So I'm going to lead with a designer disaster. A router rooted. It's router, not router, it's router rooted. Where's John? Bring your own device hell, and the server moved to hell.
I will follow through with the archiving issues. Follow the white rabbit. Does it blend? I have a cunning plan and a very unhappy new year.
So let's get straight into designer disaster. Good evening, yes. So, what is the story? We're talking a very large multinational site. Now this has also happened on smaller sites, it's just funnier on the big ones. Because, you know, John told me it was broken. It's not as funny as 1,000 users called at 9 AM on Monday morning and screamed, in this case, I'm not getting any new mail. So, these people started running around with the hair on fire, and it's happening everywhere, across all clusters, happening on mobile devices, everywhere. Oh dear, what do? We check the servers, we check the mail routing, we check the replication. At this point you're going, hang on, this is a development story. Yes, bear with me. We check the target mail files. The ACLs are fine, the template is fine. Oh, hang on a second, let's look at database properties. What do you think we found? Don't maintain unread flags. Don't maintain unread marks. Flag was not set. Okay? How? In this environment, the administrators and developers don't have access to the end user's mail files. It's a reasonably secure corporate environment. We couldn't have switched off. So, we checked the mail file template, and we found the flag had been unset there. Guess what had happened? Designer task had run that night, every night, and of course the mail file inherits from the template. It also inherits the flags. Something I never knew. So what do? How do we resolve this? We tried to develop it, and we shot it. That's the great thing about outsourcing. You can really get cheap developers these days. And in some of these countries it takes, you get there. So yeah, we retrained him. And we unset the flag on the template, obviously, made sure to replicate it around, and then applied that template to the affected user, and it all got fixed, which is great. Okay? So what have we learned? Unread marks are stored in a database table. I don't know if anyone's been around Linux before R6. Unread marks were an absolute disaster at that point. They were kind of fixed in the 6x code stream. Okay, but before that they were terrible. Uncontrolled changes to templates are gonna kill you. Okay, they quickly cause large-scale devastation. We all know that. We've all been told that. This is happening again. Designer doesn't have to run every night.
There is a line that I respond with at that point. It's called "And Jesus wept."
Running on demand does give you a degree of control. However, Paul vehemently disagrees.
Yes, because you're wrong.
Okay.
The designer task should run every night. It's not the designer's fault something screwed up. The problem with not running the designer task every night is one night it will run. I have customer sites that never run the designer task now. Why? They're scared. And they have it to save it for years, and they're terrified it will run. But one day someone's going to type log design. I would much prefer to remove all the templates, like Bill says, and put them somewhere like a master server, or a source code control server, or a template control server, and still have the design task run at 2 AM every night.
Okay, so there's a number of different ways of fixing this problem. The bottom line is, make sure developers don't make changes to live templates without some degree of source control and checking, or else it will come back and bite you in the career. Okay? Use it as a blunt weapon to enforce you get a decent change control system. It's there to save your life. Okay?
Okay, onto a few archiving issues. This is like a double-pronged story. This is a large multinational site, 40,000 users spread over 40 countries, and one particular region's mail server, their 1 terabyte data array was down to 4 gig left, which is unusual because of a very aggressive archiving routine running. Compact-A archiving routines with an archive server, which is a big root of a server with stacks of data. They don't delete mail, so they need lots and lots of room. Anything over 90 days old should and was going to the archive server. Well, to investigate, obviously, I start looking at the mail server settings and start checking, is archiving running Compact-A? I go take a look at the archive server, but I cannot, because the admin desk subnet didn't have access through the firewall to the archive server. I couldn't get to it. So I went, okay, well, that's not good, so let's check the server logs. Then I start realizing that the server logs couldn't get to it either. So I start checking for RDP access. I can't get any. I start checking for ICMP response. I can't get any. Because apparently the firewall is that locked down to the back-end archive server that only the mail servers and the monitoring software has access to them, and specific users. Well, the server had been down for 8 weeks. It ran out of disk space 8 weeks before. Somebody attempted to do a database restore of an entire archive directory by accident, and the server just wasn't too happy and exploded. Nobody noticed because the monitoring software still said it was up. Nobody bothered to check or query the monitoring software. But nobody actually could get to the server to actually see, even if there's a response from an admin comment. The resolution is 8 weeks down, you start getting worried. Very carefully, disconnect the archive server from the network, replace the directories and the key system databases, and bring up and check consistency, add to network, and check test archiving. Never in the history of Lotus Notes has old documents reappeared after replication. We know, never happens. That's when I start to worry. But there's a little bit more to this story which makes it a true peach. Earlier on last year I tweeted this, and I got asked a number of questions by people in the community. It was a great weekend. What happened? I had to fix this at the weekend. So I said, well, I need VPN access to your environment. He said, here you go. And I need RDP access to the archive server to rebuild it. And they went, okay, it's Friday, we don't know how to give you RDP access to that box. You can't get your rights correct, you still can't get in. And obviously, the guy I was on the phone to had better things to do on a Friday evening. Concurrently, I obviously have nothing better to do on a Friday evening onwards, bar look at their servers for me. So I request access, he's getting very annoyed because I still can't connect. So he added me to the global domain admins group for the entire Active Directory. Because that gave me access to all the servers, single forest domain, every server in this company globally. What did I do? I immediately elevated the rights I was supposed to have and changed the account and locked myself out of that. Does anyone want that level of access to do anything at all, ever? Except for developers. Lessons learned from this. All issues were caused by laziness. In this particular case, absolutely bone items. Are your servers up? Check them. Monitoring software is fantastic. You know, don't always trust it. Don't have blind faith in things. You're old, experienced administrators. Be as cynical as you like, because nothing works out of the box. Have a restoration process for data. Don't hand admin rights out to people, you know, as needed. It's a strange thing you have to recommend to people, but you know, go nuts. Give them the rights they need. Do not impede their work, but give them only the rights they need to do their job. Be perky. Purge interval replication control is an 853 feature which will stop old documents appearing in databases due to replication. If you haven't used it yet, take a look at the admin blast step that I gave and go turn it on into database properties.
So who's this? Okay, so here is so who here is a hardcore developer? Okay, pay attention, guys.
You hear the energy being pumped out of
So, again, large multinational company, just because it's funny, large mail server crash. So, you know, thousands of users affected. So we auto-restarted it. Up it comes 40 minutes later, and it crashed again. And we auto-restarted it, and it crashed again. had enough. So we started reminding. And guess what? It crashed again. That's an entire day blown away. People were not happy. You know, words were being said. They thought this wasn't very good. So, guess what? We looked at the NSEs finally and we found that router was crashing. So, guess what? Console log, no issue. Log file, no issue. Transaction log, no issue. Plenty disk space, plenty CPU, AV was big. All the other things were fine. We looked at the NSE and it's concluded the router task was crashing because it was running Lotus script. Admins will be going, Lotus script? Router? What madness is this? And it is madness. Because if you write a particular type of agent, and we'll get to that. But yeah, Lotus script, NSD, Lotus script, router. Oh. So we went, okay. And someone had created a before mail delivery agent in the mail template. Designer task enabled. Woo! All the users got the new mail, the new agent. Was it tested? Oh, yes. So, admins, listen up. A before mail delivery agent is run, okay? It's run by a router when it delivers a mail message to the target end user. Okay? Now, if you've got a busy mail server with a couple of thousand users, first thing on Monday morning, you're talking about this thing being run tens of thousands of times, maybe hundreds of thousands of times. Okay? It's a very handy book for doing some very, very naughty stuff indeed. However, documentation does state that this is going to be quite a quick process because router doesn't need to hang around. It's usually quite busy. Yeah? The guy who created this one had opening a remote database on a remote server and tried to drop the mail message in that remote database, which was rather naughty. And guess what? You run that 100,000 times, it does actually crash the server. Who'd have thunk? So yes, we got the re-education bats out and showed him where the mail journals were kept and showed him that would solve the problem. And we increased the change control around the template again. And moved the mode before mail delivery agent and refreshed all the user templates. Okay, so change control. Admins, you really have to learn a little more about Designer to at least figure out if somebody's put one of these little nuggets on your servers in your code. Okay, so have a look down the agent list and check the agent properties of each of the agents and make sure that nobody's done it before mail delivery. And if they have, figure out very quickly how busy it's going to be before you enable it, okay? Because otherwise you're going to get this. Try not to open remote databases with each message being delivered, okay? Especially over a 400 millisecond wide area network link. Okay, that's 1.5 times, well, it's almost 3/4 way around the world. Yeah? With a 64K bandwidth. That wasn't good. It really wasn't good. So yeah, testing. Yeah, that wasn't real testing here. There needs to be proper large-scale testing. And again, developers use agent profiling to run on agents on your testing to figure out how long they're going to take. Admins enable agent profiling in production just to make sure that you don't have rogue developers creating rogue agents that can, take out the server like this. You do profiling as well. And then everyone is cynically happy. Okay? Right.
Follow the white rabbit. This one's interesting. This is a global customer. Relatively small for a global company, about 5,000 staff, but it's a very fast-moving company. Acquisition. They build up environments and tear them down when they're done. Some of them are almost seasonal. Okay? Temporary projects, built as needed. They were having mail issues. We were called in to look at mail issues. Some mails were taking a very long time to get from Bill to Paul or from me to you. And some mails just never turned up at all. Internal emails. So we were asked to investigate. So the investigation process already with mail always starts with the directory. Ask for a copy of names at NSF. Check connection documents, configuration documents, notes, name networks, domain documents. Check the routing table. Okay? We noticed immediately different adjacent domain docs and some different non-adjacent domain docs. And we weren't really too sure about them. So we asked for VPN to actually go into the site and take a look and see exactly what are these servers up to. Which is very emotional. This is a domain, and they had another domain. more domains.
Oh.
20 different.
And that would get to 21.
A lot of people weren't even aware that they even existed. At some stage, somebody designed a separate domain model for different projects. Someone says it'd be a great idea. If they start a new project, we'll build a separate server, separate domain, we'll set it up there. And it used agents to transfer documents back to the primary name and address them. Because like replication just wouldn't do that. Why would you bother? Yeah. So this immediately became a standard because the guy that did it, not him. No, the guy that did it actually left. And then, because somebody else saw one page of saying this is how you do it, the new guy came in and started building it like this. And started sending it around and started building domains, building servers, run this agent, copy all the documents back up, because that's better than replication, and it will all work swimmingly. Nobody knew who did it. There was no record of whose idea this was to begin with. And routing documents were all over the world, all over the place. Some hops were 8 server hops to get from me to him, and some didn't even link at all. So we had to design to fix this a domain consolidation process, which was ugly. We had to clean up routing to the hub and spoke servers where possible. We couldn't do it all immediately due to the damage already done to the domain, and we ended up with 4 hub servers until the consolidation was complete. So we slowly gathered everybody back together. We talked like things like crazy stuff like the directory catalogs of them, just to see if they wonder if that would replace some of their issues. And we explained how mails work. If there is a standard in your environment and it's not traceable back to an owner, question it. I've questioned lots of standards I've seen in sites, and a lot of times they're perfectly fine. But somebody needs to question, why do you do it that way? Is there a new way of doing it? Is there a better way of doing it? Or it's the way we've always done it? That's not good enough. You have to actually question it, validate it. From a technical perspective, there is a delayed mail feature in Domino that will, if a mail is just taking too long to get somewhere, notify the sender and say, you know, I'm not there yet, it's taking me 4 hours to get to this server. You can enable these features to help your business.
Okay, so where's John? Wow. So again, multinational, 30,000 users, 70 sites, fantastic. Lots of critical line of business notes applications. Really nice, good, solid notes application site. Fantastic stuff. Been running for years. So overnight application processing starts to fail. But there's no monitoring. Nobody's monitoring these applications because they've always worked. They worked for 5 or 7 or 8 years. Okay, pop quiz. Who here has got applications that have been running for more than 5 years? Come on. I mean, the ROI, that's fantastic. What about 7 years? Okay, let's do 10 years. Oh, what about 15 years? Oh my life, what about 20 years? That's one, right? Okay, but you get the idea. Maybe 10, 15 years. Okay, the application has changed quite a bit, but they've run forever. But these are so old, no one actually monitored them. No one noticed things. Help desk calls were really ambiguous. You know, like the users didn't understand what was going on with the application because it just wasn't doing the right thing anymore. Yeah? More and more instances failed. Again, nobody noticed. And finally, guess what happens? The business explodes. It explodes big stuff. So we pick from one application, and there's no application logs, okay? That's bad. We'll talk about that. There's no way of validating that critical things, scheduled agents, for instance, are actually processed properly. And that's bad. There's history of large document updates in the applications, but not recently. So something did a lot of work, and it's not doing that work anymore. Check the agents, still look fine. Check the server logs. Yeah. Have the agents been running? Couldn't see them. Check the username associated with that agent. Guess what? Ta-da! One developer responsible for all this stuff, been working there for years, finally left, retired, whatever. Left, in one of his many contracts. And he'd been out of the termination groups, and of course, Dawn did the right thing. It stopped the agents running. But no one had thought about what was going to happen when that guy finally left. Isn't that appalling? Has anyone else seen this? Yeah? Right, we've all seen this. So yeah, and it happens time and time again. So create a template signing ID for your environment. have the administrators, manage that, have them assign the templates as part of your change control process, and then that means you as a developer can actually leave and move on, or whatever you want to do, and it won't actually crash the business. And that's the important thing. I mentioned logs, application logs. If an application requires or relies on these scheduled things working, then leave a trace. At least validate it. If it doesn't work, have some sort of mechanism that at least informs you. That would be good, wouldn't it? Yeah? And there we go. Where's the choice? Yeah. So lessons learned. Schedule agency to run. There's a DDM agent field monitor that Paul just told me about 10 minutes ago. Right? So tell your admins to switch that on. Right. You see that? That's a door. Guess what he's called? He's called release control. Release control isn't just for the socks on it. Release control. Release control is for life. Okay? Fluffy dog. Yeah? And if you're lucky, you'll save yours.
Story 6 doesn't blend. Well, this is a mid-sized site. About 1,500 users in one particular region. And they recently upgraded to ND8X on Citrix. Maybe here runs Citrix with us. Okay. It's typically a lot more common in Europe than in the US. And it was the full fat version, not the diet version. It was the full Eclipse client, and it was all running all through Citrix, and everybody was quite happy with all the new pretties and all the new shinies and the unicorns and fairies. It was all great. And they were having ongoing issues afterwards with personal and recent contacts. Everyone had everybody else's recent contacts. All of them. Some people had other people's saved contacts. And they had no idea, and the help desk was going crazy, they had no idea what the correlation was between these. Other people were fine. So to investigate it, he took a look at a typical user setup, and I checked where the locations of their directories were. Well, the majority of users were using the old shared network install, so there's a HMAP drive where their data is. So what they did was, okay, well that's not recommended anymore, but there's the recent contacts, I'll fix this, select all, delete. And then they all just reappeared in front of my eyes. Select all, delete. Start reappearing again in front of my eyes. At this point, I'm starting to feel like a bit of an idiot. Because I pressed delete, and obviously it wasn't paying attention to me. So I get a little bit frustrated, and I start asking some simple questions about, did you do a client-side release process? Yes. How do you do it? Does your client-side release process use individual templates? Yes. Are you sure? No. There was a number of problems. The two main issues were contacts being shared. All users, when they were setting them up, they had a zip file. They spanned the zip file, and that's the personal name and address book, the bookmarks file. They were NSFs. So everybody had the same replica ID. Now imagine what would have happened if they enabled roaming and they started replicating up and down to the server. They didn't do that. They weren't even that educated to be that stupid. What they did was they got some of the users who were BlackBerry users. If you were an old BES administrator, the way of getting your contacts onto the BES server was to replicate your personal address book, which everybody has the same replica ID, onto a Domino server. So they had like a directory called PNADs, and all these NSFs go up there, like bbook and pmooney.nsf, replicating up. And a client starts replicating with the server, it goes by replica ID, and it goes, oh, there's my file, oh, there's 7 more of my file, I'll just suck all them in as well. So everybody using a BlackBerry, getting everybody else's contacts. And that's only one part of this, we have to fix that. But even better, recent contacts are appearing everywhere, because recent contacts are stored in 2 places. They're stored in the names of NSF, but they're also stored in the notes data directory under the Eclipse shell, and they're plugged into IBM Notes dip, and the file's called dipstar.0. They didn't install it on Citrix properly. This was a shared part of the Citrix code. So when they installed it, they were adding recent contacts. Those recent contacts were appearing for everyone. And when you deleted them, this client was doing its job, popping them straight back in there. Going, oh no, you didn't want to get rid of them. Citrix was being deployed completely incorrectly. Resolution. Remove the personal address books from the BES server. You don't need to do that anymore. Enable personal address book syncing with the mail file so it goes into the hidden mail folders. So remove the personal directory for each user as administrator, change it out, and we'll just point straight to the mail file then. I started a project to change the replica ID for all the identical replica databases across all the servers, which we wrote an agent to do. Issue 2 was scrap the Citrix install and start again. Was the only particular way we'd actually fix it. Doing that was just building another Citrix instance and migrating users across. Lessons learned. If it works, leave it alone is not the best way. It's the same thing with questioning old procedures and policies. Bez using replicated personal address books. Does anybody still do it that way? I used to still do it that way. They still are quite common. Don't need to do it anymore. Use address book syncing with the mail file. Citrix is a great tool, treated with respect. From a client-side management perspective, it's wonderful. But you have to always plan your installations onto Citrix a lot more than you would onto one particular workstation, because it affects everybody. So you just need to understand a bit about Citrix. 853 and up is really good in Citrix deployments. So you just need to make sure you're using the right build and install it the right way.
Okay, so, this is a keyboard. Okay, so bring your own device. Hell. So quick straw poll, who here works for a large company where you can bring your own devices, like iShinies, tablets, fantastic. And I'm guessing the guys who haven't put their hands up, they're probably looking at doing that in the near future, I'm guessing. Yeah, because basically everybody is going down this route because CIOs don't want to have to buy laptops for people anymore. Because laptops that CIOs buy are terrible. They're Windows devices, Dell or whatever. They're not nice shiny ones like these Apples. Yeah. So I prefer one of these. I prefer to bring it along. I prefer to use my own phone, my own tablet, whatever brand that might be. So BYOD is big news. And if you don't think it's big news, you're wrong. So let's imagine. I almost fell over a bat here. Some idiot left a bat lying around.
It's a development issue.
Yes. But almost was a development issue, I'll tell you. Right, okay, so single user with an iShiny device or an Android or whatever you want. One morning that phone was dead. Bricked. It was an X phone. It wouldn't go boom, it would 10,000 volts through it. Yeah? It was well and truly bricked. Okay? Not happy. She had lost everything. Photos, contacts, SIM numbers, PIN numbers for bank cards, all that stuff was on the phone and it was gone. So why do we care? Well, we look back over her user history and she used to be an employee of, let's call them Big Co. Okay, Big Co, by and large, whatever we call them. But she left a number of months ago. She had the Big Co MDM mobile device management profile and her mail and PIN information had been pushed down to her personal phone. I mean, everyone's doing that, right? That's a very common use case, right? We looked at the Big Co mobile device management strategy, and well, the problem was they had a rather brutal and primitive MDM strategy. They assumed control of the entire device. Who here does that? Nobody, right? Okay, you get it. They could assume control of the entire device. She couldn't pull her own data off her own phone unless she was plugged into an enterprise laptop. Guess what? She left. They took their laptop back. So she was stuck with her phone, not being able to be backed up. She kept using it, God knows why. But guess what? After a couple of months, she finally got terminated. They nuked the device, and that was utterly and completely destroyed. So the resolution is, of course, shoot the administrator. Right? This is clearly an administration issue. We advise Big Co that should invest in a better MDM architecture. And I think they probably told us to get stuff or something, but yeah. You have to warn users if they're going to use their own devices, if you're going to nuke their device. Okay? You can't just destroy their property. Okay? Especially in a highly litigious area like, say, I don't know, here. So, bring your own device means the users bring their own device. Okay, they own the device, they pay for the airtime. They lick it clean themselves. Yeah? They love their device. Whether it be Androids or iShinies or even Windows phones if they're mentally unstable. Yeah? Who here's got a Windows phone? There you go! Mentally unstable.
That is true.
happens, I'll be very, very interested. So, here's the deal. User brings his own device, but big cool, want to push mail down to their device, and that's cool as well, but you need to secure the mail on that device. So if I've got an iShiny or a Android, it's very easy to jailbreak those phones and get a hold of a big cool email, right? And that's a problem. There are better ways than just nuking the entire phone. Look at Traveler. Traveler's really good. It will just nuke its own data, which is good. And other solutions out there will actually build encrypted areas on the devices for, this corporate information that the user can't get to, even if the phone's been jailbroken. So, investigate those things. That's far better solutions for everybody than just nuking the device. Okay? Oh, one last thing. There is a person in this room who actually happens to be a mobile device management specialist. This man has spent months learning everything there is to know about mobile device management. Now, I'll ask that person to stand up now. Paul. Thanks for that. Do you have any words of wisdom on this subject?
I have lots of words of wisdom on that subject, actually. The standard policy for BYOD and corporate enterprise phones, companies deploying them as the same type of thing, that's a bad idea. From a mitigation perspective, from a data retention and a compliance perspective, there are some fantastic MDM solutions out there. There are some not as good, but the key, in the Apple world, they all pretty much do the same thing. In the Android world, keep in mind there's 400 different versions of Android. 400. Look at things like Samsung Safe, the extended APIs for control, for BYOD, and then you can have data segmentation, AES encryption, and certain data, and you can remove it. You can even remove it based on location or based on time of day, if you look at the right MDM tools. I do not resell any MDM tools, but I will overview or recommend one over another if you want to actually go into website at some stage.
Now, there's one other thing that you mentioned to me earlier, and I do actually listen to you when you talk about admin things. I don't understand them all.
Sorry, can we have that tweeted?
I'm not mentally deranged. Oh, no. Anyway, well, basically, one thing you mentioned earlier is that Traveler will change much more rapidly than the rest of your environment. So why would you want to keep Traveler in the same nodes domain as the rest of your environment? Why not put your Travelers in a separate nodes domain, using the same server hierarchy so you got across applications? But it means you can upgrade the version needs of the Traveler servers without affecting the rest of the environment, and therefore you keep Traveler more up to date. Is that what you said?
No.
Okay, good. Yes. So, here's an idea. His idea.
One of my favorites this year. This is just genius. It takes work to get it this wrong. Small subsidiary of a large company had 2 domino mail servers, non-clusters, 2 domino mail servers. One Monday morning, because it's always Monday morning, or Friday evening, all mail files corrupt all documents in all mail files, rep-save conflicts across the board. FTI is corrupted, no databases that are inside the mail directories were affected at all, just the mail directories on both servers. So I started investigating, started looking at the domino servers themselves, check the program files, check the log files, agents, backup software. Because backup software has never screwed over a mail server. AV software, because AV software has never exploded a mail server. But you have to start looking at all these things, going through the iterative check process with your hands tied behind your back so that you won't change anything and then be the cause of the problem. You have to look and read everything as much as you can. Servicing fine, except for the corruption errors appearing all through the mail directories on both servers. So I retraced the logs to the last startup, and since the last startup of both servers, all these errors have occurred with locking. So I'll ask a few questions. The administrator, a genius, was asked to actually publish mail from both servers on the internet. So people have like a login for both servers on the internet. Didn't have the space to put them all on one server, didn't know what a reverse proxy was, didn't know what a VPN was. We had one public IP address. So you're saying, I want to be able to access both servers through this public IP address. Didn't understand ports or port forwarding. You just pointed at one server. You say, how can we get them pointed at both? So there's this old feature notes called directory links. You can use directory links to map a drive. So say, for example, your server's running on disk space. I get the mail directory, I'll put it onto this array, and I'll create a directory link which is a pointer to that array. So, genius. Mapped the drive from server A to the mail directory in server B, and from server B to the mail directory in server A. This is true.
Awesome.
And created directory links on both sides to the Windows mapping. Then he started both servers. One server, server A, for example, came up first with his map drive, and obviously takes lock ownership of its directories on server B. Server B comes up and barfs, because it doesn't know what to do and explodes, causing corruption errors. He saw this but didn't admit to it, so then he restarts it the other way around. He starts it the other way around, so the exact opposite happens, killing both sets of mail directories. That's a nice, pretty Monday. Resolution: stop the servers, unmap the mappings, and later. Delete the directory links, get it back with the tape, restore. We couldn't do anything to get that data back, it was burned so bad. Enthusiastic punishment is sometimes recommended.
Enthusiastic?
Yes.
What's enthusiastic?
Well, it's a term I've heard in the news over in certain countries that they call recreational violence, and this is one that would apply to this particular moment. The resolution is quite obvious. What are your lessons learned there? Domino is an application server, just like any other application server, like DB2, like SQL, anything at all. It needs ownership of its data. File locking is not good on any application server. That's why backups and AV software used to, and in some cases still do, cause problems if they're not configured correctly. Looking for the easy solution within your own realm of knowledge is not always the right way to go. You could talk to a firewall guy or a network guy and learn a little bit about reverse proxies or VPNs. They had a VPN. This wasn't the end of the world's thinking, he just wanted to fix it himself. Domino does not always have to be the solution. That's where I've always had an issue with Domino as a product. I have a lot of respect for the server. There's no product like it for me. Clients, sometimes great, sometimes want to chuck it out the window. But the server itself is amazing, but it's not always the solution. Has anybody ever seen Domino being coded to do a solution that it was not designed for?
No.
And then being punished for it? Heavily. Don't always think within your own realm. If somebody puts a solution together, you know, it's like, oh, here's a solution, what's the problem? That doesn't work. We're all too old and tired. Okay? You gotta look for the right solution every time.
Well, the server moves to hell. Let's see if this clicker's going to work. Okay, so we're talking about a massive corporate. I mean, the big one. Well, not the big one, obviously people would guess it was, but it's not that big. Big enough to be funny, should we say. Right, again. Moving servers from one site to another. Now, very carefully designed, very carefully planned. You know, the packaging, all the directories up properly, moving them across one area lines to another area and unpacking them in the right place. It's a very well established process, very well done, okay? And halfway through this process, a server gets brought up, obviously, and 50 minutes later, mail stops running, replication stops running, traveler stops working, agent stop, HTTP stops, the console log goes bananas, okay? Well, the servers are still running, okay? What happened? What's going on? So the first thing you do is you open up the directory. And what did we see? We saw now, here's what we were told. In fact, you
I was at a meeting. This meeting, here's exactly what happened in this particular case, as we were told. A server migration was occurring, and they basically moved a Domino server from A to B, but they forgot to put the server ID on the server. So when the server came up, it didn't like that the server came back down, which actually corrupted the transactional logs. So the transaction log corruption had resulted in altering the Domino directory design, you know, by adding an unusual form and a view and a button. You know, but it was corruption that done this, the transaction logs. Have anybody ever seen a corruption do this in transaction logs or something like this? So this was a meeting, they had due diligence and due process and lessons learned. They all had each other in the back and they had a group hug. while we're in the room, they explained how the transactional logging was causing this.
Now the lifeboats!
Yes. Administrators and children first.
The bullshit meter reads man the lifeboats. So what was the real cause, Captain? One, an administrator accidentally replaced the directory design with the document library. We've never seen that before, right? And it replicated, and there were no survivors. No survivors. Most mail servers get losing mail for a while. I mean, that's how we don't do it. You chopped its head off and it's still dancing along. Damn stuff.
There's an image in my head that will not go away.
Some servers, obviously some services that travel are slightly more complicated. I mean, they feel obviously because the views they're relying on disappeared. But you know, it's hardest the problem. Hardest the problem. So what was the resolution? Obviously, replace design on the directory, rebuild the indexes, and restart the server. It'll give the poor thing a chance. But no, bonus points, salt in the wound, as you said. Even after discovery, even after fixing, they didn't do the server restarts. And the problems that kept going for a few more hours until people shouted in the relevant authorities. Yeah, very impressive. Lessons learned. Limit your risk. We've said it before, we'll probably have to say it again, but, you know, designate master servers for all your design changes. That's what's the development on, okay? Accidental design replaces can happen. They do happen. So how do you stop that? Replication requires access, remove the access. Local domain servers doesn't have to be manager all the time. Or it probably does. Honestly, really, you will get found out. Okay? Trying to lie about it just gets you on this stage. Yeah? Yeah? So yeah, fess up and take a beating with the re-education bat, and that's it, job done. But you lie about it, you're okay. Detailed disaster recovery processes would help as well. Try not to store them on the server, obviously.
This is this year. This was a late entry. Straight into the top 10, as you can see. Unhappy New Year.
Was that after the deadline?
Yeah. No, 7th of January was. Or Susan Bullock throw something else.
Yeah.
Okay, so large site, regional administration. There was 6,000 users in the region that I am supporting. Blue Web supporting. 2nd of January, first of 4 calls of the year, everybody goes berserk in this company. Replication had stopped working on the application hub server. Nothing was replicated. So, 2nd of January, we start doing the investigation. And like everything else, I'll always reiterate, if you're coming into a problem, don't click your way to a solution. Okay? I used to be called Captain Click in my early days because, like, I'll eventually fix it, I'll just click on everything. You have then inherited the problem, congratulations, and then you will get the blame. Try to find out what's working with no effective change to the problem until you figure out what the problem is. So replication was working, cluster was working, networking, connectivity, working, console, nothing obvious, log files, some very unusual dates appearing in the log file on the server. Replication history and download databases were appearing for the 1st of January 2020. So I spoke to a developer. Did you change anything? No. Because the developer was working over the holiday season and the senior executive felt like he wanted to be nice to everybody and he wanted an email sent at midnight on New Year offering joyous tidings to all of the staff and have a wonderful New Year. An enthusiastic developer wrote an agent to do this because he said, I can do that. But he couldn't test the agent because he didn't have admin rights to change dates on his test server. But he did have LDP and admin rights to the production server. So he brought down Domino and he changed the date to December 31st, 11/58, 2012 on the operating system and brought Domino back up. Domino inherits its date from the operating system and the agent ran at midnight. and sent out a test mail. He was just using one mail for text. Then he tried every year, because he's enthusiastic. So, better make sure it works on 2013 in December, 2014 in December, all the way up to 2020 or 2019.
That's good, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, due diligence of stupidity.
I've never seen a proper test.
Well, the server each time, the server does what a server does. Domino server replicates. When a domino server replicates, it doesn't check everything between, say, this nice small server and a clustered pair. It will actually replicate between these boxes, and it will flag the last date and time per database that successfully sent or received data to that server, which is called replication history. So it makes the replication next time more efficient. So it will check the next day to say, oh, I don't need to check anything since yesterday. Anything before yesterday I don't need to check. I just check documents that have been modified or read since that date. Domino came up in 2020, said, oh, replicate. Brought it back down to 2013 or 2012 at the time, and Domino server says, oh, nothing to replicate. So 2020. It's doing what it's told. Resolution. Wait 7 years. It'll work. You'd be wild. I don't know how long you kick the support calls for, but I don't think 7 years is within your SLA. Alright? The other solution, unfortunately, is a painful one. Clear the replication history on every database. Your view indexes will also have been damaged when you bring it back. It is not pretty, it is not pleasant. It is a horrible repair. Has anyone ever been touched by this before? Has anyone ever caused this before? I was young and I needed the money. Educate the developer with extreme and unmerciful prejudice on modifications to the system. Lessons learned on this. Changing OS states is bad. Domino's, like every other system, it inherits from the operating system. Be it any version of the 16 operating systems that Domino will run on. Replication relies on replication history. The replication history goes forward in time. We bring the server back in time. Domino will do what it's told and wait.
Now, Paul's talking about time and dates and Domino. Domino isn't the only application, server out there that relies absolutely on time dates as well. Every SQL system also relies in similar time dates value as well. So, Domino isn't being stupid and objectionable here. Domino is just relying on a consistent passage of time from A to B. Okay, so don't mess around with time. Okay, we're on to our favourites. We're on to the ones that made ourselves pee ourselves on stage. Okay, it's the toilet guy. It's difficult to do some of these without actually, having a problem. So hence the bottles. Right, Hell's Agent. So let's imagine we've got a critical application that sits on all servers. This is a business critical application. The business runs on this application. It's about 3 gig, it's got 65,000 documents. That's good, that's a good size. Big enough to care. And it replicates from 3 global hub clusters down to all the spoke servers. Everyone's happy. So, guess what happens? All server communication grinds to a halt. Everything. No mail routing, no replication. And the application blows up over the weekend to 28 gigabytes. It's a bit like schema.nsf, if anyone's seen that. Massive, hundreds of thousands of millions of replication conflicts. Wow. What happened? So yeah, what do? How do you investigate that? Right, you check the application for recent design changes. Oh. You check the replication history and the schedule. You check the server tasks, you sniff the bandwidth. Ah, there's a new schedule agent. The developer wanted to modify all the documents, so he created an all documents view, and that's cool, it's not a problem. He wrote an agent to modify a field, which is good, and for some reason, he set it to run every hour, which is less good, and then he set it to run on all servers, which is not good. Now, for the admins in here, pay attention, it's really funny. So, it ran on the primary hub first, and that's great. And then guess what? As it was generating all these changes, then it started replicating with all these spoke servers. And the second thing to replicate after security is the design. So before it pushed through all these document changes, it pushed through the new agent, which then woke up on the new server. Hey, I've never run on this server before. Do it now, shall I? Move! But not before that server went, oh, I better push this new design change up the other server first. Yeah. So within about an hour, every single server in the entire environment is now touching every single document in every single instance of the database. Now, isn't that cool? Yeah? I mean, what other database system can generate 4.8 million documents an hour? I mean, wow! That is cool. Dumb, but cool. So here's the deal. Developers never change design on production systems.
You can't do it safe without laughing.
Okay, come on, developers. Who's changed design on production systems? Keep your hands up and I'll hit you in the ass. That's everybody. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, we shouldn't do that, but we do. Yes, best practices are for people who don't know what they're doing. I believe was the phrase we used. Yes. Yes. So yes. This is the odd thing. This is like a 5-line agent, but they got just a brain freeze or whatever, and it just like he just clicked on the wrong things and then took out this massive corporation, and they couldn't work for days, and this cost them $250,000 a day. He's still paying off. That's gonna start. Okay, so here we go. Developers, separate development. UAT, user acceptance testing, and production domains. Get the admins to manage the UAT production domains. You do not touch live data on live servers, okay? It's more of a pain, but if it does go bang, it's not your fault, okay? And secondly, it never goes bang. Who here has that? Who here has 3 separate domains? What, 8 of you, 10, maybe 12 of you?
And they all work for the same company.
Oh, honestly, change control saves your money. Saves your career. Okay?
90 servers, not the same as the last cycle.
No.
One Friday, all replication and routing stops on all servers. It started on the hub and it quickly affected all servers in the domain. So you go through the investigation process, you check the source of the error, check the logs, the console, check the WAN landings. Is the server a performance issue? But no, it's not. The servers are very high spec. This is a very big environment. So I check the server consoles and admin for the NSF. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this, what caused this in pictures, and then I'll explain it for the developers. Because the junior administrator had deleted local domain servers group using a WinP on a hub server. It's replicated to all servers, and then because local domain servers is usually used for access for ACLs and for mail routing and for server-to-server replication, servers forgot how to talk to each other because there were even connection documents. They didn't have access to each other anymore. They noticed it, so they fixed it by disabling replication of the name and address book, but forgot about the administration request database, which continued to replicate around, getting everything else to do its job for it, because that's how good MinP is. Resolution is not nice. Flush out the MinP requests, and then we had to manually add local domain servers back everywhere we could. Obviously, we could put backup or restore of the name and address book in, but as for ACLs, it was not pretty. Lessons learned. Limit admin rights to the Domino directory. Give the person the rights they need, not everything. Education, there's fantastic training available for Domino. There's fantastic people in here who write websites full of content and data, even for the developers. You know, there is lots of stuff in there, like Notes in 9 and all the other sites that are available. So X Pages 101. For the administrators, you have to deal with the likes of us. Have response procedures for disaster recovery. Have a test environment that simulates your live one. Maybe not to scale, but simulate your live environment when it comes to servers and architecture. Little shorties. Don't let antivirus scan the domino directory, please. It would be nice. File level antivirus scanning on NSFs is horrible with the domino servers, and I've seen it far too many times. People try to fix it by adding more horsepower. It doesn't work.
Archive transaction logging. It relies on the backup process clearing the archive transactions. If the backup doesn't work, the archive transaction log file system fills up, and then all hell breaks loose. Try not to let that happen.
We'll jump past it, I know we're almost out of time. Don't switch on anonymous access in your server security document, please. Please. Yeah, I have seen it, it's not pretty. And don't use a replication stub as your nail template.
Yeah, it's bad.
This
This is a good one. This is a live screenshot. Let's go. Give us a screenshot. Can you define return on investment? Look at that. That's IBM Download Administrator. That's admin version 9. Look at the left. Server release 453 on Windows 351. Windows NT 351. I was young when that came out. I was thin when that came out. He had hair when that came out. Look, on the 2nd of January 2013, we're not making this up. And look at the runtime. Look at the runtime. 352 days uptime. Yeah? That's mental.
For a second, I thought he was going to fall down there and I'd get a winch.
Music floor.
Very short summary, everybody makes mistakes. We all do. What makes us better? Put systems in place to deal with the obvious ones and learn from them. Blame culture does not work. It only makes problems last longer and get more nasty. Admit it, get it over with, you made a mistake, go on and fix the problem. Major system disasters will always happen. Okay? Sometimes it can't be prevented, sometimes things just happen. Okay? They're usually a combination of lots of different errors, and if you chip away at those errors, you'll prevent more and more of those major ones happening. Learn from them. And with that, thank you very much for being here.